Man, Stephen A. Smith has had an eventful 2 weeks. First, he was approached by LeBron James courtside, talking about his son, Bronny James. Now, a ESPN insider has came on record to say some things about Stephen A. Smith. But we're going to talk about all that here next, here on the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Well, guys, man, Stephen A. Smith has been in the news here of lately, and some of the news that he's been in and involved in, it's some negative news, and now there's some more news coming out about Stephen A. Smith. Now, we all know Stephen A. Smith from First Take, you know, the media personality, started as a journalist. He covered Allen Iverson back in the days with the Philadelphia Inquiry. He's made his way through the ranks, and he is in a high place at ESPN. He has his own show, the Stephen A. Smith Show, where after his First Take, he goes on to his Stephen A. Smith Show and he talks about a lot of different things. He said he wants to, you know, dibble and dabble into politics and things like that. And he talks about a lot of different things on his Stephen A. Smith Show. He talks about things when people go at him. He'll go on a session on his Stephen A. Smith Show and give it right back to him. We know the back and forth that he's had with Jason Whitlock. You know, Jason Whitlock saying some things about Deion Sanders, and Stephen A. Smith has come to Deion Sanders' defense, going at Jason Whitlock. You know, talking about Jason Whitlock's just sitting back, you know, spearing hate and things like that. Now, we all know Stephen A. Smith can get very boisterous and very loud on First Take. He's very animated. He be using big words, probably some words that he don't even know what they mean. But at the same time, he is just loud and boisterous. So there is a ESPN insider that has said some things about Stephen A. Smith, and this stuff can get real dicey. This can get real ugly. Because this is people that work with you. Now, the bad thing about it is somebody captured this because it was some leaked audio that's out there on the internet, and people are going crazy over what this insider had to say in this leaked audio. Now, the person that posted it on Twitter X, a lot of people are going to social media. That post has generated over 3 million views. So it's hot and heavy. And it's not a good look on what that person said about Stephen A. Smith. Now, you know, Stephen A. Smith recently signed a $100 million deal with ESPN. Now, ESPN believes in Stephen A. Smith wholeheartedly, and they believe in what he stands for and believe in what he brings to the table. To offer somebody that much money that's in media, that is astronomical. And, you know, Stephen A. Smith, rightfully so, deserves every penny that he's making. But a lot of people have been going at Stephen A. Smith for some of his takes and some of the things that he has said about certain athletes, and people are going back at Stephen A. Smith. So this insider, he dropped a bombshell. So in this article, this is what the insider had to say in this article. Let's take a look at this article. It says ESPN insider labels Stephen A. Smith an angry black man and worse in leaked audio. Also, it says the leaked audio revealed on ESPN Insider referring to Stephen A. Smith as an angry black man, discussing how the staff views the television personality amid his rise in political commentary. James O'Keefe, founder of the far-right activist group Project Veritas, posted a clip on his X account on Friday. appearing to show a recorded conversation between an LA-based assignment editor and producer Ryan Bertrand and another woman, according to O'Keefe's claim. The audio seemed to capture the conversation between the two, during which Bertrand commented on the racial undertones of Smith's angry on-air persona. So, guys, we're going to take a listen to what that audio stated, and it's kind of crazy what people think about Stephen A. Smith. So let's take a listen to what the audio revealed.
We have this one guy, his name is Stephen A. Smith. He plays the angry black man on TV. The angry black man stereotype is basically you're loud, you talk over people. What you say is not necessarily important. It's more how loud you are and how you deliver your speech. He does that pretty well. I think the higher ups at ESPN and Disney see that. He's like this angry black man. He goes on Fox News probably like once a week, and he'll talk about like Gaza, and he has no idea about Gaza. Talking about like his views on Gaza, and we're like, brother, you were just talking about the Lakers like 3 hours ago. What do you know about Gaza? Stephen A. had been talking about LeBron's son for like a while. LeBron like confronted him at a game one time, and then ever since that, Stephen A's been on like 4 different podcasts, basically like, I thought it was a weak move, like coming up to me and whatnot. It's just this whole like embarrassing thing that we're all like rolling our eyes at. They just think he's crazy, just trying to create attention, you know, which is his job, I guess. He gets paid a lot of money for that. So. To like create chaos, to create like controversy, like an argument. That's like his job.
So he's like an actor?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Very much whoever's buying my shit, I will sell you my book. Which is like Fox News sometimes.
Man, now you heard what, the leaked audio revealed, man. And that's damning, for ESPN insider that works with you to come out and say them things about Stephen A. Smith. That's kind of crazy, man. And I look at it, in this situation, man, when you're getting paid all that money, it comes some jealousy with inside the organization. Stephen A. Smith getting paid a 5-year deal, I think $100 million. It might be a lot of jealousy going on in that organization. And for somebody to sit down and have a conversation and say those things about Stephen A. Smith, about him being an angry black man, he don't know politics. You heard him reference saying that, he'll go on his show, talk about Gaza. He don't know too much about that because just a few hours ago, you was talking about the Lakers and you're talking sports, and then you said you want to dibble and dabble into politics, but you don't know what you're talking about. So that's taking a shot at Stephen A. Smith and his political views as well. At this juncture, like I said, when you're sitting at the top at ESPN and you're making that money, there's going to be some bottom feeders that are coming at you, and they're going to say anything to discredit anything that you're doing. And sometimes when you're hot, and you're making a lot of noise, people are going to come at you. And then he referenced about the situation with, LeBron, when LeBron approached him courtside, and then Stephen A. Smith goes on a world tour on everybody's podcast talking about it was a weak move by LeBron. But you came out on ESPN the next day and you stated that you could understand where LeBron was coming from the father standpoint. And you almost was like, cry me a river. Now you want to go on world tour on all these podcasts and you want to flip the script and say something different, like you standing 10 toes down. But the ESPN insider called him out, talking about you're just loud for nothing. You just want to be the loudest in the room. You overtalk people and things like that. See, they pointing a lot of things out about Stephen A. Smith that a lot of people already know. And in this sense, it was caught on audio. And this can get very ugly. This can get serious. So, we haven't heard a response from Stephen A. Smith. I'm waiting to hear a response from Stephen A. Smith. It's going to be interesting on how he responds. I don't know if he's going to respond to it on ESPN First Take or he's going to do it on his own show, Stephen A. Smith, because, he do it on his own show. I know Stephen A. Smith is going to let loose, but some of the things that was in the leaked audio, is very, alarming, because a lot of people see some of the things that the audio capture than what Stephen A. Smith really does. He's just loud. He just over talks people. And as far as politics and things like that, to take a shot at a man's political views in that sense, talking about he don't know what he's talking about. Like I said, things can get ugly. We'll wait for Stephen A. Smith to respond. And once he responds, we'll have it right here on the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. But I see everybody in the comments section, #salute. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball Dropping drops another hot banger. And we'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.